Hello, everybody. So I have up here a One Piece tier list for arcs specifically, and just a warning: the opinions I have about the One Piece arcs are going to be vastly different compared to your average One Piece fan. Um, I, for some reason I'm just different than everybody else, or that's how it feels anyway, based on the kind of opinions I've read online on Reddit and YouTube comments, not on my YouTube channel, but on others. You know, watched a couple of videos of tier lists. Not recently, but just in the past, from what I've seen. Anyways, let's just start this. So, first up, we have Romance Dawn. I think this is an S tier arc, and the reason why I say that is because this builds the structure of what One Piece is. It kind of builds the structure of who Luffy is, why he thinks that way, and what his ideals are, right? And we also meet Shanks and his crew, and Shanks and his crew are the reason why Luffy decided to become a pirate, and not just a pirate, but the king of the pirates. So that's why I have it up at S rank, you know. And he also teaches Luffy why friends are so important, and not just friends, but family as well. Okay, now we have Arlong Park, and Arlong Park, at least to me specifically, I think it's S. This is the arc that made me hooked on One Piece. You know, like I think this is the arc I think this is the arc that taught me what One Piece really means and what it means, at least to me, you know, and how I feel. Like this arc hit me with like emotions, and I'm just like, wow, like Luffy is such a good friend. You know, it's not even about being a good person. He's a good friend. You know, he'll never, um, I guess you could say, betray or just ignore a friend that's in need of help. You know, and I just love this arc. You know, Arlong was a great villain for the beginning of One Piece. You know, and I love the villagers. I love Nami's family. We learn about Nami's mother, and we see Zoro somehow competing with Arlong with a wound, and that in Hachi too, with a wound that at least most humans would have gotten killed by because he was slashed by Mihawk. It just is a great arc overall. Alabasta for me is up here. It's an S tier arc by far. There's no question in my mind. It's the first complex arc we've gotten. So similar to, like, you could say the post time skip arcs, not just post time skip, but like Annie's Lobby, Water 7. Like, it's more complex. Whereas Arlong Park, at least in my opinion, it's a short one. You know, it's probably at most 20 chapters. You know, maybe. Um, and it's just a you could think of Arlong Park as a simplified version of Alabasta in terms of the length, you know. Like you know, in Alabasta there's more detail, more in depth. We learn about many different characters. We learn about an entire country, what's going on in that country, and we meet King Cobra. We see how Crocodile is manipulating kind of the country into thinking that King Cobra is this bad guy that uses like illegal things to make it rain artificially, right? When that's not actually the case. Okay, Baratier to me is a probably B. So yes, we get Sanji's introduction, but the villain is nothing special. We also get Zoro versus Mihawk there. We meet Mihawk for the first time, which is great, right? But I think overall, it doesn't compare to like Arlong Park or even Alabasta or Romance Dawn. But we do learn about Sanji's dream as well, and we get a new person added to the crew. But it's a great arc, you know. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not great and it's not terrible. It's just in the middle between the two. Okay, Orange Town to me is like really it's okay. I want to say D because it's Buggy. Sorry, I don't really like Buggy. I don't hate his character or anything. I just think that Buggy kind of an idiot, and just amazes me how he can be a Yonko these days when he hasn't done anything worth of notice. You know, it's just that he's got Mihawk and Crocodile behind him and Crossguild. So with this, I'm gonna decide honestly C. You know, um, we do also see Nami in that arc. I believe Zoro and Luffy. One of the first, probably. I think it's the second or first arc. Second, I think. I believe it's second. So it's not a bad arc. It's just I don't like Boogie's character, straight up. But Luffy does end up saving a town, and it was a great fight. And overall, the arc's just okay. Not terrible. It's not great. Just okay. Logtown to me is around the Baratier. We meet Smoker, we meet Dragon for the first time, and we see Dragon shock Buggy because Luffy was about to be executed. And the best thing about it is that he smiled like Roger, you know. And there was a pretty good fight in that too. We see Tashigi too. We see how Zoro kind of gives a chance to a cursed sword, and you know, if luck wasn't on his side, it would have cut off his arm, but it didn't. I believe he still has this sword to this day. The Reverse Mountain for me is probably B. Um, it's not a terrible arc or anything, but it's nothing special. It's see a lot of the One Piece arcs at the beginning are average, and I think one of the reasons why, or not average necessarily, but they're just all right, you know, or they're just good. And the reason why they're not great or excellent is specifically, I think, because of the length. Like if we okay, so if we take like Ennie's Lobby compared to Arlong Park, right? Ennie's Lobby is much longer than Arlong Park, right? So it gives more time for the author to make it more detailed, add more things to the story, more elements, right? So I think that's why a lot of these arcs are kind of like in the middle opposed to the top. Like the only two arcs that are short that I have at the top are Arlong Park and Romance Dawn, but I still might change my mind and move them down to A, right? I'm going to revise this entire list by the end of this arc. Period. The Whiskey Peak, I love Whiskey Peak. I mean, we see Zoro fight 100 fucking bounty hunters, you know, Baroque works, and we see Luffy and Zoro fighting. We see, I believe, like Mr. 5 and 6? No, or Mr. 5 and Miss Friday? I can't remember all the names. I'm sorry. All I know is that she's got the, I believe it's the Kilo fruit, and the dude has the explosion. At least I think so. He can shoot boogers and, you know, cause explosions. Actually anything on its body. So if it's just like water, you can also flick water and cause an explosion. It's a cool fruit, but it was utilized terribly. It's not the best arc, but it's a good arc, you know. So I'm gonna leave it at A. You know, I what makes it an A for me is Zoro's fight against 100 of those bounty hunters. That was insane. Okay, Little Garden for me. Meet Mr. 3. We meet the Giants as well. They were stuck on Little Garden for like 100 years. I love Dory and Broggy. They're in the story now, which is excellent. But them getting beat by Mr. 3, bro, by his, I think, wax fruit, or candle fruit. I think it's wax fruit. I would have to put this at the top of C. It wasn't my favorite arc. It was good. Nami got sick. We also see Zoro and Sanji hunting these large animals in a competition, and they tied. Okay, now we got Jaya. Okay, Jaya for me is top of C, and it's specifically because of Bellamy. I mean, you know, Luffy walks in, talks about the One Piece and his dream, and Bellamy just kind of gives him shit over it and slams his head into a fucking into like a table pretty much. Um, but then Bellamy stole some gold from like Nolan's ancestor. Luffy gets mad, comes on out, and he one shots Bellamy, bro. And that was just, I mean, I think that's why I have to put up at C, top of C, was because of that. Like, it's such a sick moment. It's amazing. Okay, Syrup Village. I'm gonna be honest, Syrup Village. I know it's Usopp's introduction, but Usopp, like the first half of One Piece, I did not like him. One of the reasons is specifically because he was kind of annoying in the way where he was just scared of everything. Like the dude was a straight up pussy. And I don't mind it as much in the post time skip because he doesn't do it as often. But if it's pre time skip, I'm gonna have to put it here. It's an okay arc. It's not a bad arc, right? I don't think D is bad. And if there was an F column, I wouldn't have put it there. It's just you know, nothing special. Okay, Skypiea. For me, okay, a lot of people don't like Skypiea. A lot of people skip over it. But I recommend, if you have not watched this arc, I recommend you go back and watch it because there's a lot of things in this arc that ties to, you could say, last 18 chapters of Wano. Specifically, it's like 5 chapters. This arc ties a lot of things to the future, you know, and it's crazy how Oda kind of like had an idea of what he was going to do with Luffy's character in chapters from like 150 or, you know, like just old chapters. Like, it's honestly amazing. I've never seen an author that had an idea from the beginning till end of what he was going to do with their main character. It's crazy. So for me, Skypiea. Oh yeah, and then you also get Nolan and it's Kagura. And dude, I just love the flashback on that. It's one of my favorite. It's probably, I don't know. It just, for some reason, Nolan kind of reminded me of Roger. So I'm putting this at A. I really love Skypiea, you know, and if you think about it, they parallel because Nolan was executed for saying there was Sky Islands. He was looked at as crazy, and the world government executed him. And it's kind of like the same idea with Roger. Well, not the same reason, but he got executed by the world government as well. Okay, here we go. Long Ring, Long Land. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did watch this arc. At the time, I did not know this arc was gonna be what it was. I'm not gonna speak too much on it because I don't care for it. It's my least favorite arc. Period. It's the worst arc. Not a bad arc necessarily. It's just I didn't care for it. I feel like it didn't continue the story. I feel like the story was stagnant in this arc. Just saying. All right, Water 7 to me is B. You know, Iceberg's amazing. Frankie's amazing. We learned about CP9. Now they're all in CP0, or at least most of them are. Yeah, but we learn about them in Water 7, CP9, and like we learn about Lucci, Kaku, and what's that? Forgotten about the woman's name. And Jabra too, right? So Water 7 is a great arc. Tells great story. You know, like we find out Robin is going with CP9 because she doesn't want to involve her crew, and she doesn't want to get them killed. You know, pretty much because she knows CP9 is a very strong force. You know, they're all young, talented murderers. Pretty much, they eliminate pretty much anybody that stands in the way of the world government and what they want. Okay, now Enies Lobby. I'm gonna have to say, Enies Lobby is here. So you get a Luffy power up, Gear 2, he one shots I believe it's Bluno with Gear 2, which was insane. Even I'm pretty sure he even used Iron Body, he still got one shotted. And we see Sanji fighting Jabra, we see Zoro fighting Kaku, we see Luffy fighting Lucci in Gear 2. And it was one of the best fights up until that point. Probably even a better fight than Crocodile versus Luffy, to be honest. It's it's such a great fight, and like the story too, like you have like Robin crying because she wants to go with the Straw Hats. She loves the Straw Hats, you know, she wants to be with them, but she also doesn't want to get them into trouble. So I think Enies Lobby is definitely an S tier. You know, I don't think many people will disagree here. Thriller Bark. Okay, Thriller Bark to me is not, it's a very different arc. Like, okay, as far as story structure goes, it's similar to the rest of the arc. But the style that it's done in is, in my opinion, very, very different, you know. Get Gecko Moria, you get Dr. Hogback. By the way, guys, I'm like remembering this all on the fly. I have nothing pulled up to remind me. I love One Piece so much that it's all in my head. I'm like a fucking encyclopedia for One Piece. But anyway, Thriller Bark to me. Oh yeah, we also get Brook as a crewmate, which Brook is one of my favorites because he's so funny. Um, and then not only that, he has a cool cane sword thingy, and then he also has a awesome devil fruit. So if I had to put this arc somewhere, it's probably a B. I mean, I know some people really don't like it, so like they'll put it over in C, but I think this one belongs. It might be you know what? I'll just put it here. I can't put it. You know what? Here. Cool. It's a B arc because it's still a warlord. It's still an amazing fight. We see Oars, but the not Oars Junior, like the original Oars. And we see how Gecko Moria can use his Devil Fruit abilities to copy Luffy's moves. And then he's like an ancient giant too, which makes it even crazier. But Oars is incredibly strong, and I think it was a great fight. And we also see Luffy's power up, but it's just a temporary power up where he is able to absorb, I believe it's 100 shadows, and he becomes Nightmare Luffy, which was sick. Awesome. Okay, Saba Ori to me, we meet a lot of the worst generation, many of them, in fact. And let's see here. This one's tough. See, it's a great arc, I think, because we meet like an admiral, we see his power, we see a bunch of the worst generation. I think almost all of them. And we also see Luffy punching the celestial dragon, which was amazing. Like that was honestly one of the best scenes ever in One Piece. You also see Luffy realizing he's not strong enough and that he can't do anything against Kizaru, and that's because of a lack of haki. But even if he had haki, I don't think he would have. Okay, so even if like after like the time skip, I don't think Luffy, or it's not that I don't think, I know he wouldn't be enough after like right after the time skip as far as how strong he was. He still wouldn't be able to beat Kizaru. But if I had to put this somewhere, it would have to be probably B. You know what? Top of B. Yeah. You get one of the best scenes there. Okay, Amazon Lily. A lot of people don't like this arc for some reason, at least just based on what I've read and seen from other people's opinions and comments, Reddit, YouTube comments, and all that other stuff. So I think Amazon Lily for me has to be, I take it over Sabaody. And there's one reason for that. Well, no, I won't. I can't. Okay. So one reason why I have it up so high is we see Luffy using Conqueror's Haki for the first time, which was amazing. He has his fight against the Boa's sisters, and we also learn about Boa's backstory and how the world nobles are. And I just think, and then she also helps Luffy into Impel Down, so on and so forth. But I really do like the arc. I like the Boa's sisters characters. I like Boa's character. I like Clarissa's character. And I just like Amazon Lily as a whole. Like the country, its citizens, its people. One of the best arcs I have read/watched. Okay, Impel Down. See, a lot of people put this like S, but to me, like Impel Down is nothing special. I don't know why. Aside from like Bon Clay, right? Aside from him, for whatever reason, I don't know why. Impel Down never resonated with me. Like I don't care for the warden or the vice warden. I don't know why. But we do meet and break out a bunch of characters like Jinbei, and I love Jinbei. If I had Okay, I gotta be fair and not biased here. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Impel Down probably should be up here, to be honest. It should be up here, if I'm being honest. I'm thinking of putting it like down here. Because of its importance, I'll put it top of A. I don't think it's S. A lot of people will put it up here. To me, it is not. Okay, Drum Island. Drum Island is top of C. Because, like we meet Chopper. We also meet Wapple, and we see how much of a vagina he is. We also learn that Blackbeard went there to look for something. We don't know what to this day. Also, Ace went there chasing after Blackbeard. And then we also meet Dr. Kareha, which is one of my favorite characters. Dr. Hero Look too. It's a good arc though. I really do think so. I just think that Wapple kind of ruins it. Okay, Marineford. Come on, man. You know where Marineford? It's right here. Marineford in the pre-time skip is the best arc by far. It's not even close. Dude, we get many characters. We get Sengoku Garp. We see a bunch of Akainu, Kizaru, Kuzan. We see Luffy, Whitebeard, Jinbei. Like, I can keep going. Marco. And honestly, Marineford, as far as wars go, one of the best wars. I don't know if it's the best. I don't know yet. I can't say that, and there's many reasons for that. But Marineford, fucking fantastic arc. It's definitely an S tier arc, and if anybody disagrees, you're wrong. Straight up, you are wrong. All right, post-war. So after the war, I know that Luffy learns about haki from Rayleigh and many other things. We see that he's on Amazon Lily, and he fights a bunch of animals as well. So post-war, probably at the end of B, to be honest. It's nothing crazy happens. All we know is Luffy goes through a 2-year training arc, learning haki and many other things. Return to Sabaody. I'm going to put it tough. Return to Sabaody is nothing special. We'll put it here. Okay, so like we see Luffy go back to Sabaody, and we see him like get way stronger. He can destroy a pacifista in one hit with haki. Actually, I don't even think it was with haki, but I can't remember. I can't recall exactly. Alrighty. Fishman Island. This one's very controversial. A lot of people like this arc, but then also a lot of people don't like this arc. For me, it's like right in the middle. It's nothing special. The only thing that's special about it is the fact that Nico Robin learns of Joy Boy and kind of like his apology to Fishman Island and the ancient weapon. What is it? Poseidon. And Cody Jones to me is just not that guy. The dude was taking steroids that was making him older. And the rest of his crew were really not opponents to anybody of his crew. Like they were not strong enough. Like Zoro was taking care of that fucking, what is he, squid octopus guy. No problem. I don't even remember his name. That's how, he's not really memorable. I'm sorry. Like Hody's not really that memorable. Like it's a good arc, honestly. Like we see a lot of Luffy's new moves. We see his hockey. We see Red Hawk. But if I had to put this somewhere, probably here, right? It's not A. So okay, so this is good. So I consider B good. Like it's good, right? It's not bad, right? It's not terrible, but it's not S tier, right? Nothing crazy. Now Punk Hazard, we meet Law, Caesar, Monet, and we also see that Caesar is given these Caesar's given these giant drugs or trying to make children into giants using these drugs that'll cause a withdrawal and that are very harmful to their bodies. It's like a addictive substance. So think of like any hard drug that can make you addicted to it. So Punk Hazard to me, I'm gonna put it top of B. I really do like Punk Hazard. We also see Luffy and Law make an alliance to take down Yonko and Doflamingo. Okay, now Dressrosa, without a doubt, is right here. I mean, we get Luffy in Gear 4. We see a Conqueror's Hockey Clash. We also see a bunch of people that are pirates in the arena or Coliseum. And we see them collectively as a whole just fight together. And it's a great arc, All the Doflamingo executives. We have Senor. We have what's his name? Lao G. We got the big dude with like, I think it's a Tun fruit. That dude was funny, but it's a great arc overall. We see Gear 4, we see Doflamingo's Awakening, we see one of the best clashes we've ever seen. We see Sabo. So it's like we see the Revolutionary Army. Like you cannot say it's not a great arc. Like I always say that Dressrosa is like a top 3 or 4 arc, depending on what you're thinking. Okay, now Zoe. Zoe, I don't know why, dude. I love Zoe. Like we first meet Jack on Zoe, Kaido's crew as well, the Beast Pirates. For me, honestly, I want to say A, because we also get the first road poneglyph, the red, like the red poneglyphs up on Zoe. We also make a deal with Momo and Kinemon about helping him to take down Kaido. So I'm going to put this over in A. I know a lot of people might put it down over here in C, but I love Zoe. I cannot say it's a bad arc. Now, Whole Cake Island. I love this arc. Katakuri is like the first villain that I've like respected with my entire heart, And like Katakuri really is not a bad person, right? He's done some bad things, I won't lie, right? But he has pride in himself, and he kind of, through Luffy, saw that like he didn't need to be someone that he didn't want to be. He could just be himself, right? And you see like one of the best fight. Actually, up until that point, I would argue the Katakuri versus Luffy fight was the best fight. But Wano happened, and you know how that goes. You get an amazing clash. We see Luffy get pounded by Katakuri until he learns Future Sight. And that's when Luffy got the advantage. So I'm going to have to put Whole Cake Island right here. See, I can't put any of these arcs above Marineford, right? I kind of want to because there's hockey involved, but I'm not going to because Whitebeard, man. Come on. Okay, Reverie for me it's kind of like down here. Like the Reverie to me wasn't super special, like it was okay, Wait till Egghead. We'll get more on what happened at the Reverie. A lot of things were missing from the Reverie. Wano, to me, is the best arc we've ever seen. That's just to me, right? Like, you get Luffy's insane growth, which, at least by record, we've never seen. Like, it took Goldie Roger to be Pirate King. It took him 50 years, right? Well, not 50 years. It took him, like, 20 years, I believe, right? Because I think he became Pirate King at like 50 something, right? Luffy has only been doing this for like 2 years and some change. And he's a Yonko already. He's at that level of strength, right? We saw him in Wano go from first commander to a Yonko caliber character in one arc in like a month at most, right? I don't know the exact time he was in Wano. I don't know the exact time the Straw Hats were in Wano. I don't, right? But I'm pretty sure it was just a month, right? Maybe even if it's 2 months, let's say 2 months, right? That's an insane growth. I mean, you can argue, especially now in Egghead, Luffy might be the strongest character in this entire series. Like it's insane. It's insane. And two, like we meet Kaido, we meet Yamato. I love Yamato, and we meet the Flying Six. We meet the Yonko commanders of Kaido's crew, Queen, King, Jack. Um, and it's one of those amazing stories. Like Wano to me is the most complex story. Oh yeah, Luffy awakens his fruit. You know, he gets advanced Gankazaki. He learns Rio. Um, we also see him just splitting the side. We also see him splitting the skies with Kaido. Like, come on, man. You cannot say Wano not like Wano to me is at least top 3. I know a lot of people pick Dressrosa over Wano, but I can't say that. Now, Egghead, to be honest, I think Egghead, at least in the manga where it's at right now, is the second best arc. I really do think so. Like, if you have okay, so if you only watch the anime, I recommend you go read Egghead, right? Type in the episode and be like, what chapter is this episode, right? And you'll get the results. I'm telling you, Egghead, by the end of this arc, it could end up being the best arc. I'm not kidding. I mean, Oda's done a fantastic job with this arc. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy my tier list. I'm gonna keep it as is because I think it's actually pretty good. If you agree or disagree, let me know why. Or if you agree with some and disagree with some, tell me why as well. Anyway, see you guys in the next one.